Okay, so you probably just finished listening to your story, Talk with an Astronaut. Now what we're going to do for our writing today is we're going to focus on getting our details out of the text and writing good notes. Because you guys have been really great about pulling those details out. But we want to make sure we're writing really good notes so that they're easy for us to read later on. And also so it makes our writing a little bit easier when we actually start writing. Because if I pull entire sentences out of the text, then guess what? When I write my paper, it's going to sound just like the text. But if I pull short notes out of the text, then when I write it, I'm going to have to put it into my own words. Okay? So, what you're going to do is you're going to be writing as if you are Ellen Ochoa speaking to students in a class. You're telling them a story. Remember, this is a narrative. So we're going to be telling a story about what she's done in space. Okay? So, we're going to take 10 notes. You're going to number your paper 1 to 10. A little bit different than what we normally do. But again, I want to focus on keeping our notes short and to the point. Grabbing the important words out of the text. So you can see each note is going to be 4 words or less. Okay? We're not writing entire sentences, 4 words or less. For example, one of the first things it says is that she is Hispanic American. So up here I write Hispanic American. 2 words. Okay? We want to keep it short, to the point, important words from the text. This is really important because as we get more into note-taking, especially as you get into middle school, you're going to find you have to take notes on the important words. And if you're trying to take notes on everything, you're not going to get the important stuff. So, 10 notes, 4 words or less on each note. Okay, so you're going to pause the video right now and take those 10 notes from your text. Go ahead. Okay, so some of you, most of you by now have those 10 notes. Okay, it looks a little bit like this. Okay, you can see my notes right here. Now one thing we have to do is we have to organize them. Over the past week or two, for our narratives, we've been organizing our notes by character, setting, and events. We're still going to do that today. I just wanted you to start with writing the notes because I wanted to focus on really short notes. But now we're going to organize those by character, setting, and event. So I look at my notes and say, all right, which notes describe the character, who the person is? One thing I note here is I've written Hispanic American. So that would be character, who the character is. Okay? We're also looking for setting. That's everything around the character. That would be things like the freeze-dried foods, the nuts, the granola, the cookies. Okay? That would be part of your setting. Okay? And then it also says Earth looks vivid. So the picture of the Earth outside of the shuttle, again, that would be your setting. Okay? It's all those things around the character. Anything the character can see, touch, feel, around the character. Okay? And then finally, events. What is my character doing? Okay? Well, I have an event here. I said emails husband. That is something that she does. So I put that as an event. However, you'll notice my notes are a little lopsided. I have lots of setting notes, but very few character event notes. So the second thing you're going to do is you're going to go through and label all your notes. Okay? And then you're going to make sure you have at least 4 notes for each one. 4 notes for character, 4 for setting, 4 for events. Now if you just quickly did the math, you'll realize that's at least 12 notes. So since you only have 10, that means nobody's going to have enough notes yet. You need to be going back through, getting at least 4 for each one. 4 setting, 4 character, 4 events. Okay? Again, character is telling about Ellen Ochoa, describing her as a person. Okay? Setting is the things around her. Events are what she does. So go through your notes, label and organize them like that. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we've kind of got our notes organized. We've got at least 4 of each one. So now we're going to go ahead and just start writing our draft. We're just going to do one draft. On this draft, just like all the rest of them, we start off with our introduction, which is introducing the character. We need to know who the story is writing about. Since it's a narrative, it's in first person. So, if I say, I am an astronaut, that really doesn't tell anybody who the character is. So if you start out with, hi, my name is Ellen Ochoa, okay, that's okay, because you're introducing your character. So that first section would be introducing your character, okay? The middle section is where we're going to start describing the events, what she does. Okay, with each of those we're going to do two things. First of all, as you're describing the event, we're going to add sensory details. Now, if you remember, sensory details means using your senses. What you see, what you feel, what you hear. Part of it talks about the food they eat. Is it sticky, gooey? Is it gross, disgusting? Based on the facts from the text, you can pull some of that out. It's not going to say explicitly in the text. It's not going to say the food was really gooey. But when it talks about things like dried fruit, cookies are crunchy. So you're going to know that, and you can pull in those sensory details to add it to your text. It's a really big way to bump your text up, make it a little bit better, is adding those sensory details. Also, I'm talking about the food. Remember, that was one of my setting details. So you're going to include setting along with your events. Okay? Somebody asked me about paragraphs. This is a good way to decide paragraphs. Your introduction, your character, that's one paragraph. Each event would be one paragraph. Now, you already have 4 events. Okay? So you're probably going to have 3 to 4 paragraphs. You might have 2 events that work together as one. You might decide this event just, I don't have enough information. But basically, you should have 3 to 4 paragraphs on events. 1 event per paragraph. Okay? Again, make sure you add those sensory details. That's a big deal, guys. Make sure you're talking about what it sounds like. You know, that vivid earth with that gorgeous green and brilliant blue. Get that into your writing. That's going to make a huge difference. Okay? Tomorrow especially, too. Get that in your writing. Next thing, the conclusion. Remember, the conclusion is not the facts from the text. All of this is information from the text, except for the sensory details that you're adding. The conclusion is the character's thoughts and feelings. That's got to come from you. You've got to decide how that character's feeling. So if you've listened to this story about Ellen Ochoa, you can see she's very passionate. She loves being an astronaut. She thinks it's a wonderful thing. So you need to convey that in your conclusion. Conclusion is short, only a couple of sentences, but it really lets people know, hey, being an astronaut is the most fantabulous thing in the world. Don't use the word fantabulous, it's not a real word, but you get my idea. Okay, let the audience know that being an astronaut is amazing. Okay, once you're done with that, you have 1 draft. Go ahead, take your time and work on that. If you get it finished, then by all means go back, make the corrections. Remember, when you're correcting, 10 things need to be changed, at least 10, whether it's spelling, capital letters, missing periods, or just not enough facts. Make sure you change at least 10 things. All right, go ahead and get to it. I look forward to looking at all of your writing.